Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Neva, this is Reading with Neva, and it is that time of the month where we play my Wheels of TBR game. So it is the end of September. I am filming this a little bit early, so we're going to go through the books that I have read, any books that I think I might get done before the end of the month, and then we're just going to go into the TBR game. I'm going to decide if we're going to have any punishments, but this month's TBR, so October's TBR, is going to be played a little bit differently. So usually I have all of my main wheels and we pick based off of that. This month is a prompt month, so but I'm also doing TBR Harvest over with Leandra from the TBR Zero. So because we're doing that, she has an option for her TBR, or for TBR Harvest, called Trick or Treat, and I will insert the graphic here because I believe there is one. And basically what I've done is I've taken all of the prompts from the Trick or Treat TBR Harvest game, or board, the version of that, and I am going to be picking my books based off of those prompts. So I've put every prompt on there, and this month we are going to do 12 rolls. Part of this is because I'm doing TBR Harvest and Fabelin, so I'm hoping that some of the TBR Harvest books will work for Fabelin as well. But another reason is because I am going to take a punishment this month, since I didn't take one in August for September, and I have not gotten even half of the books that were on my main Wheels TBR done. So I am going to take a punishment this month, and we're just going to say that I'm going to do 12 spins altogether. There are full instructions on how to play this game down in the description box if you also want to play. If you don't want to use spinner wheels, like you want to use like TBR jars or something, you can use a die instead of a wheel, but I choose to use wheels because they're in my phone and they're easy enough. So let's go through the books that I did get done with this month. I did DNF one book on my main TBR, and that was My Clarity. This was an ebook. I believe it was a Stuff Your Kindle Day book. It was supposed to be like a dark motorcycle romance. I didn't like this book. I did find it as an audio book, and I listened and read at the same time. I apologize for any noise in the background. But I didn't like this book. The main character was pretty stupid, like the main female character, she was pretty dumb. And within the first like 4 or 5 chapters, there was some homophobia, and I just said, no thank you. So I did DNF that book, but I'm counting it as a completed book because I'm not going to finish it. I then also read That Sick Love. This was my Kindle Unlimited pick for the month. This was a dark stalker romance. I did read this book and I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. Please check all of your triggers for this book because there is strong religious trauma in this. And if you are a person who's not worked through the religious trauma or doesn't like that trope, I would definitely not read this. It was very heavy. And I had to really sit with it for a while before. I haven't even picked up a dark romance since. So there's that. And then the last book that I did read that was on my main TBR, out of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 books that were picked, was Trouble for My Troll. This was my series pick for the month. This is Fairhaven Falls book 2. I really did like this book. I gave it 4 or 4.5. I don't remember, but I either gave it 4 or 4.5 stars. I really did love this book. It was super cute. The only thing that kind of bothered me about it was that the troll character referred to the female main character, who's a human, as sugar all the time, and it was it pulled me out of the story, especially when we were having like spicy scenes and then he was calling her sugar. It really bothered me. So there's that. Also, really quick, my brother is talking to somebody on live stream, and so I apologize for any of the noise, but there's only so many places in my house that I can record, so hopefully the audio is not too bad. Apologies. Okay, so I did not read any arcs, and I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I did not get completed this month. So that is a big reason that I'm going to do 12 spins this month instead of not. You know what I mean? Because I missed 6 books this month, so we'll give 6 books. Now, I did start the Powerless Powerful Tandem read, and I did start a vlog for that. And I am still working on Kelsey's Fave Books vlog as well. I plan on getting both of these things done by the end of the month, along with my God of Malice video. I plan on getting all 3 of those done by the end of the month. Like I said, we still have like a little while. We still have about a week-ish before the true end of the month. So I'm going to try to get all of these things done before the end of the month. I also read Daydream with Brittany this month as a buddy read, and I started The Inmate with Katie yesterday from the time that I'm filming this. So I will finish The Inmate probably actually today. Today is release day when I'm recording this for Pucking Sweet. So I will be reading Pucking Sweet before the end of the month as well. So let's move on. We're going to start fresh for the month, and like I said, we're going to do 12 spins, but I'm only going to be using the prompts that are on TBR Harvest. So I am going to still use my ebook, audiobook, Kindle wheel, and then we are still going to have other things, like I will still be doing my Libby spin, my Kindle Unlimited spin, my backlist arc spin, and my series spin. So those spins will still be happening. I just am adding some other things in as we go, just because, like I said, we're gonna do 12 spins. Okay, so like I said, we are doing 12 spins this time. I keep saying rolls, but we're doing 12 spins this time, and we are going to do it in the same format that we usually do. So I will be picking ebook, audiobook, or physical book, and then we will spin the TBR Harvest wheel to actually pick the prompt that we have to fulfill. So I hope that that makes sense to everyone. It makes sense in my head, if that's helpful. So I'm hoping that it makes sense to everyone that is like watching this and understands like what we're doing here. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So let's start. We're going to spin our wheel for format. All right, so our first book has to come off of my physical TBR. So this is going to be a physical book off of my physical, oh my goodness, hold on, sorry guys, my physical TBR. So let's spin to find out what our actual prompt from TBR Harvest is going to be. Here we go. Very Hallow-Lean-y. So I put every trick or treat prompt on this wheel. We're gonna do 12 because I think there's more than 12. Now if I can fulfill more than that throughout the month, I will, but we're gonna stick to at least 12. All right, and our first prompt is hot drink on the cover. All right, let me go find a physical TBR book that has a hot drink on the cover. Okay, so for my first book, I'm going to be doing a reread of Legends and Lattes, which I'm going to put a picture up here. I do not have this book in my physical possession, but I do own it physically. I actually own both the indie published version and the like Tor traditionally published versions. I own both. So I'm going to count Legends and Lattes for the book with a hot drink on the cover, and we're not going to talk about how long it took for me to find a book that indeed had a hot drink on the cover. So that is what we're going to do, is Legends and Lattes, and I'm going to stretch this a little bit because technically I own it physically, but I don't physically have it in my possession, so I will go to the library and check it out. That way I do have a physical book to show you. Okay, all right, so now we're going to do spin number 2. Okay, so spin number 2 is vampires in the story, and then I realized that I forgot to do the spin for what kind of a book. So we're gonna do this one a little bit backwards. So I've spun for the prompt and realized I didn't spin for the format. So we're gonna spin for our format now, a little bit backwards this time for spin number 2. Okay, so our spin for format is in ebook. So let me go find an ebook that also has vampires in it, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so for Vampire on the Cover, that is an ebook, I am going to be reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I have read this once. I read it last year, but I do have this on my Kindle Unlimited checkouts right now, and I need to reread this one and read Six Scorched Roses before I can move on with this series. So I do own this physically, which is why I'm holding up the physical book, but I probably honestly will jump between the ebook and the audio. But this is what we're going to be reading because I do own this as an audiobook as well. So we're going to be reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night because this does have vampires in it. They're not traditional vampires, but it didn't say traditional. It just said vampires in the story, and this story has vampires in it. Okay, let's go ahead and do spin number 3. Which is an audiobook. And we will spin for our prompt. A sweet word in the title. All right, let me go look through all of my audiobooks and find an audiobook that has a sweet word in the title. All right, so for an audiobook with a sweet word in the title, I am picking Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I do own this on Libro FM as an audiobook, but it's possible that I will get it read before the end of September. If I do, then I'll come back later and I'll let you know a different book that I picked, but this was the only one I could find that really wasn't a Christmas book that had a sweet word in the title that I own. And I prefer to either use owned or Libby Libby books for that. So that's what we're going to go with, is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Okay, let's do spin number 4. Just want to make sure I have the right number here. Which is another physical book in our prompt. Mysterious word in the title. Let me go check all my physical books. Okay, so for a book with a mysterious word in the title. We're going to be reading One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I've had this book for a while. I actually own the second book, which is called Two Twisted Crowns, I believe. And I think I can read this on Kindle Unlimited. So it kind of will be taken off of my physical TBR, but I'll also be able to read this in a format that I prefer as opposed to reading it physically. Although the inside of this book is really pretty, so I might read some of it physically as well. So this is our book for a physical TBR book with mysterious word in the title. Spin number 5. The format is going to be another physical book. We're really reading down the physical TBR this month, which I think is great. And then our prompt is found family. So let me go see what I can find on my physical TBR for found family. For a physical book with found family, I'm going to be reading Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. I read the synopsis of this and it appears to me like there is some found family in this between our main character, who is a nurse, and 2 of her patients and their family. So I'm going to count it. If I read this and I find out that there's no found family in this book, then I will pick a different book. But for now, this is what is going to get added to the TBR for found family. All right, let's do spin number 6. We are halfway through. We have another physical book. You know what? Honestly, this is so on brand with the fact that this is for Leandra's readathon that I would get so many physical books, because her whole channel is about reading down your physical TBR. I just read down my own TBR, which includes audio, ebook, and physical books that I have purchased and not read. But I just feel like it's very on brand that I'm getting so many physical books. So let's see what our prompt is. Alright, so our prompt for this is witchy vibes. So let me go look, because this one might be a little bit harder for me to find something, because I don't know that I own a lot of witchy books, but let me go see what I can find. So for a physical book with witchy vibes, I am going to read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I know a lot of my friends read this book last month, like Brittany read this, I think, and Leandra. I know Brittany did, but I think Leandra might have read it as well. So I am going to be picking up The Spell Shop. Look how pretty these edges are. But that's what I'm going to read for this prompt, which is witchy vibes. I don't really know anything about this book. I have not read the synopsis. I know there's like a little winged cat in here, I think this is, and like, I don't know, it gives me like all the cozy vibes, so I've really been wanting to read it during the fall time. So I'm really glad that I got this one onto my TBR. Okay, let's do spin number 7. Another physical book. And our prompt is going to be a fairy tale reimagining, and I know exactly which book I'm going to do with that. I have it sitting right here, so we're just going to jump into what I've chosen, and that is One Cursed Rose by Rebecca Zanetti. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, reimagining, whatever, but Brittany read this book a couple of months ago, I think in September, and then I found it at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I have to get this book. It's so pretty. I don't have like the pretty hardcover sprayed edges version, but even though I don't have that version of it, I do really like the cover of this, so it's very shiny. So that's what we're going to read for this prompt, which is One Cursed Rose. All right, time for spin number 8. Okay, an audiobook, and the prompt is a book to film adaptation. Let me go see what I own that's book to film and that I haven't already read. Okay, so for the book to film adaptation, we're gonna do Daisy Jones and the Six. So this book was made into a Prime, like Amazon Prime series, and I have watched the series and I have actually read this book. However, when I read the book, I read it physically with my eyeballs. I did not, this was actually back in the day, I actually did read it physically, like I own the physical book of this book. I should have brought it out here so I could hold it up, but it's fine. So that's what I'm going to read, because I do own the audiobook for this as well, but I've never actually listened to the audio, and Brittany has definitely been like, you have to listen to it as audio. It's so good, blah, blah, blah. So I am going to listen to Daisy Jones and the Six this month, and this is going to be the one book that no matter what, I will be listening to it audibly. Sometimes I will switch my format and still count it as being read because it still gets it off of my TBR. But with audiobooks, a lot of times I will commit to listening to them as audio, and as of right now I only have 2 audiobooks anyway, and at this point both of them probably need to be read as audio because one is for a vlog and one I'm being told I must listen to audio because it translates so well. But a lot of times with physical books or ebooks, I will choose to find the audible version, or with a physical book I will choose to go back and forth between ebook and audio. So I'm committing to reading Daisy Jones and the Six as an audiobook. Let's go ahead and do spin number 9. Let me have 4 more spins. And we have another physical book. I hope Leandra's gonna be tagged and linked down below, and I hope that she watches this because the amount of physical books I've gotten on this month's TBR is truly on brand. It's truly on brand for who Leandra is as a person. And our prompt is going to be a 2024 new release. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look because I'm not gonna double up on prompts, but I have at least 1 book in here that's already a 2024 new release. I think this one is as well. Actually, I have 2, I think, because yeah, this is also a 2024 new release. So let me go look and see what I have that's not part of a series that is also a 2024 new release. So for a physical book that's a 2024 new release, I'm going to be reading Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is the like Walmart special edition, so it has like the red sprayed edges, and then the cover, like the hardcover of the book, looks like this. It's pretty cool. Awesome. I also have a friend who got me the Barnes & Noble special edition, so we gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that. It might wait until next year, but I do need to read this considering that I do own 2 special editions or limited editions of this book. I don't really know anything about this book. This will be my first Geneva Rose that I have completed if I get through this. I did try to read one of her other books. I think it came out in 2023. Which one was it? You Shouldn't Have Come Here, and I didn't like the audio for that. I thought that the man in the audio sounded really creepy, so I ended up DNFing it. I do really want to be a Geneva Rose girly, so I'm hoping that this will be the book that hooks me to Geneva Rose, and then I'll read her I will plan to read her backlist. Some of the people that have blurbed her kind of make me nervous. I will be 100% honest. Just like glancing at the back of this book, which I think it's so cute because on the back it says rated T for thrilling. I think that's cute. But I see two like 2 authors on here that like are really, one, I've only read one of their books and I absolutely hated it, and then the other one I've read most of their backlist, and it's been hit or miss. Like I've liked a lot of their books, but some of them not so much. But she is also blurbed by Lisa Gardner, and I really love Lisa Gardner books. And I also like Ashley Winstead, and she's blurbed by her as well. So this is our book for a 2024 new release off of my physical TBR. All right, 3 more spins. So spin number 10. Another physical book. And our prompt is a reread. All right, let me go look at my physical books and see what I can find that's a reread. That's not, all right, my camera may have shut off and all, or cut me off in the last clip because my camera battery died, so I apologize for that. But the next spin that we got was a reread, a physical book reread. So I'm going to be rereading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I never did read Hellbent, so I need to do that. I do own these in every format because I love them. This is like the Barnes & Noble special edition or deluxe edition or whatever that has like the sprayed edges and the pretty foiling on the cover. So I feel like Ninth House, with the vibes that it gives, is a very like fall spooky vibes kind of book. So I feel like this is the perfect time to do a reread of Ninth House so I can move on to Hellbent. So that is what we're going to do for a reread. Let's do spin number 11. And our format is going to be an ebook. And our prompt takes place in autumn. So let me go look through all my ebooks and see what I have that I want to read that takes place in autumn. And then we'll do our final spin, and I'll explain to you how the rest of the wheels and the game for this month are going to work. Okay, so for an ebook that takes place in the fall, I feel like I read this last year, but I don't really remember anything about it. So, and it's not marked in my Kindle as being a read book. So I'm going to read More Than Candy Corn. This is like a short, I'm guessing it's a smut novella because it's from Stuff Your Kindle Day. I don't know anything about this book, but it has to take place in the fall because they're talking about candy corn and Halloween. So that's what I'm going to read. Give myself a short little ebook that's like going to be a fun little time that might be like 2 or 3 stars, but it gets it off my TBR and it takes place in the fall. All right, now time for our final spin. So our format is going to be another physical book. And our prompt is a grumpy character. So a physical book that has a grumpy character. Let me go see what I have. I feel like this is going to be a little bit harder because that means theoretically that I haven't read the book, and so I won't know if the characters are grumpy or not, but let me go see what I can find. So for a physical book with a grumpy character, I'm going to be finishing Leather and Lark. So I've read less than 50% of this. The last time I picked this up was in August, so I may opt to just start it over anyway, but I have this physically and I have it on my Kindle, so I can switch between the two. I no longer own the audiobook because I didn't like the audiobook and I returned it because I knew that I wouldn't finish it that way. So Leather and Lark is the second book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. There is a third book coming out next year, but this is the second book that has come out this year. And I've read Butcher and Blackbird, absolutely loved it. I gave it 6 stars. Leather and Lark follows the second brother named Lachlan and Blackbird's best friend, Lark. So Blackbird in Butcher and Blackbird, it's her best friend, which is, her name is Lark. So this is called Leather and Lark, and we're following them. This is an this is a true enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine kind of thing. Lark absolutely loves glitter and uses glitter and like epoxy resin in projects after she unalives people, because they are both also serial unalivers. Lachlan is definitely a grumpy kind of character, so that's where I'm going to do this. And the trope, there is a grumpy sunshine kind of trope in here, so that's what we're going to use. A Leather and Lark. So that is the end of the actual spins for the main TBR game, but we do still have other spins to do. So I do still have other wheels that I have to spin for, that I spin for every single month. But the way that this is going to be a little bit different, the way that this is going to be a little bit different for this month is that I am going to go ahead and, instead of doing it how I usually do, where I would have to read every single book that's on the list, I am going to choose that the 12 prompts for the actual TBR Harvest game, that is what I need to try to complete. As long as I complete, we'll say 6 of the 12 prompts that I just spun for, that you just watched me spin for, then I'm going to call myself successful. However, I am still going to spin for Libby, Kindle Unlimited, Backlist Arcs, my series, my Patreon, and my friends' favorite books vlog. That way I have these books to fall back on, and these books may fit prompts, so I could switch those books out for any of the prompts that I've already picked. I hope that that makes sense. Now obviously it would have to fit the format, so a lot of these I wouldn't be able to switch them out unless my Patreon or my friends' favorite book vlogs, I actually own those physically, because we have over half of the books on here are physical. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the books that were picked for the main game are physical books. So we're going to start with my Libby wheel. I do not know if my Libby wheel is currently up to date. I'm going to be honest and real about that. But we're going to go ahead and spin it, and then I will check, and if it's not on, if the book that I got is not currently checked out in my Libby, I will respin until we get a book that is. So I hope that that makes sense. So let's go ahead and we will spin the Libby wheel. Okay, I almost guarantee that this book, it's called 10 Minutes, 38 Seconds in This Strange World. I can almost guarantee that I actually returned this book and decided I didn't want to read it anymore, but I'm going to double check just to make sure it's not in here, and it is not. So I'm actually just going to hide that slice, and we're going to spin. Actually, I don't know if any of these... Okay, we'll spin one more time, and if the second one comes up, then I'll just update my wheel and we'll try again. Let's see if this one's in here. I think it might be. Okay, that's the second one that I've had that I don't actually have on here. So let me go update my Libby wheel, and then we will spin for the book. Okay, so I updated my series, or my Libby wheel. My Libby has like gone down a lot because I haven't really been using it. So we will go ahead and we will respin, and then we will actually get a book that I currently have on Libby. Because I only have like 5 books on Libby right now. So there's 6 books. All right, so the book that we will be reading is The Unmaking of June Farrow. That will be our Libby pick. Technically, this was last month's, what was it? Last month's That's What She Read book club book, but I didn't get to it. I didn't really want to read it, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't in the mood, but it feels very like fall, like autumnal to me, so I'm hoping to really love this book. We're going to spin for is Kindle Unlimited. I'm pretty sure this is up to date. I don't switch out my Kindle Unlimited very often, so I have to actually finish a book to actually switch my Kindle Unlimited out. I hope that that makes sense. And I think the only book that I've successfully read that's been on this wheel is That Sick Love. So as of right now, I'm going to say that all the books are on there. If I go and one of the books is not, then I'll remove it from the wheel. But I'm pretty sure this is up to date because, like I said, I don't cycle out my Kindle Unlimited very often. I basically get 20 books and then they stay there until they're all read. So let's spin for my Kindle Unlimited wheel. Okay. So the book that we have is Spark of the Everflame. I'm going to pop over into my Kindle app really quick and just make sure that I still have this one downloaded. I'm pretty sure that I do, and I'm hoping that this will actually possibly kind of do 2 things at once for me. I haven't listened to Nicole's stuff yet because she did send me some messages this morning letting me know that we're picking for the final book is being just, or the book for October is being decided for a Patreon book club, and this is one of the books that's on there. So I'm hoping that this will kind of do 2 things at once. I do have Spark of the Everflame, so I'm hoping that Spark of the Everflame will work for my Kindle Unlimited book, but will also work for Patreon book club because then I only have 1 book that right there. So Spark of the Everflame is what we're doing for Kindle Unlimited this month, and I do have that one. So even if I didn't, I will be finishing the Inmate before the end of the month, so I would just switch them out. So yeah, that's what we're going. Ouch. Sorry, I have a little bit of a back itch there. So Spark of the Everflame, I will try to remember to impose pictures. I hope I do remember because it irritates me when I don't. But Spark of the Everflame will be the book that we are reading for Kindle Unlimited. It is available on Kindle Unlimited still, I believe. I will say that once you download a book to Kindle Unlimited, it counts. Also, I believe that I bought Spark of the Everflame because I do own it. So I believe that I either bought it or it was a free book. I don't remember because sometimes Kindle Unlimited books will run for free or for 99 cents. So I do technically own this book. However, when I downloaded it originally, it was on my Kindle as a Kindle Unlimited book, which is why it's in there. So I do have it. I do technically own it, but I'm going to count it because in order for me to continue the series, I will probably be getting the rest of the series through Kindle Unlimited. So Spark of the Everflame is the book that we are reading for my Kindle Unlimited wheel. Next wheel that we spin for is my Backlist Arcs wheel. Alright, so we're going to do the Sunlit Ruins. This is an audio arc that I have, so thank God for that. I don't really know anything about this book. I believe the Sunlit Ruins is a YA fantasy book, and I have it on NetGalley. Like I said, it's a backlist arc, audio arc. So that is what we will be reading for my backlist arc. The next one that I spin for is my series wheel. This is this is any series that I have started in the year of 2024. I believe is how I updated this. Now it is very possible that that's not how I updated this. It's very possible that there are series in here that I've you know, not read yet. Like there are series in here that are from a while back or whatever like that. So, all right, cut out everything for Backlist Arc. I do not have Sunlit Ruins. Cut out everything for Backlist Arc. I cannot access Sunlit Ruins. So we won't be doing that. Sorry. Okay, the next wheel that I spin is my Backlist Arcs wheel. Alright, and I will be reading Our Father's Burden. I have no idea what this book is. I'm guessing that it is a, Our Father's Burden. I'm guessing that this is a psychological thriller. Because I get a lot of thrillers from NetGalley. And it also looks, when I search it on Kindle, it looks like it's on Kindle Unlimited. So Our Father's Burden, that will be the book that I am reading for my Backlist Arcs. This book came out, it looks like in February. Yeah. So Our Father's Burden is a Backlist Arc from February. So if you want to read it, it's already on Kindle Unlimited. The next wheel that I spin for is my series wheel. This is any series that I have started. Some of these may be series that I started like years and years ago. But most of them I think are series that I started in 2024. I know that as they get updated, they're only series that I started in 2024 because that's what I actually have like in my spreadsheet. My reading spreadsheet are my series from 2024. So let's go find our series wheel and see what series we will be continuing. The Legendborn cycle. Okay. Okay, so the Legendborn cycle is what we're going to be continuing. So the second book in the Legendborn cycle, I have these in all three formats again because I actually really love Legendborn cycle. So the first book is Legendborn. This is a King Arthur retelling, like King Arthur and the Round Table. It's a retelling. So I have both books. So I will be moving on to Bloodmarked. I have no choice. I've been dragging my feet because the next book doesn't come out until 2025. But it looks like I will be reading Bloodmarked, which is book 2 in the Legendborn cycle. I may choose to reread Legendborn for the 4th time, but I may not. I may just pick up Bloodmarked. So that is what we're reading for continue a series. All right, the next wheel that I'm spinning are the Patreon picks. So if you are in my top 3 tiers, so if you're in the 4, the 6, or the $8 tiers, then you can put in for basically, I'm pretty sure it's any tier except the $2 tier. You can add a book to my list. It may be $6 and $8. I should probably double check, but I feel like I made it so that also $4 tiers can do it as well, because that's how Rainy's ended up on there. I will be finishing Powerless and Powerful before I move on to this book, but I want to get that done by the end of the month. So if you are part of Friends with Benefits, the Girlfriends, or the Wives tiers on Patreon, you can give me a book to put on my spinner wheel, and then every month I will pick a different book to read that was picked by a Patreon. So let's spin. All right, so Forget Me Not. This is a book that was given to me by Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading. So Forget Me Not is what we're going to be reading. I think I can get this on Kindle Unlimited. If not, I can get it from the library. And that's what we're reading for the Patreon pick. Then the final thing that we spin for are my friend's favorite books vlog. That's a project that I do. I'm not going to tell you. I will tell you the friend that's been picked and the challenge that goes along with their vlog, but I will not tell you what books specifically. You might get told like on sprints or something, but I won't tell you in this video what books specifically they've given me. But essentially this project, I have asked some of my friends to give me 4 to 6 of their favorite books that they want me to read. It can be any books. It doesn't have to be books that they think that I will enjoy, just their favorite books. I read them and then I make a vlog, and I have different challenges that go with each book or with each person to kind of make it so that each vlog is a little bit different than the next one. It's not just me reading a whole bunch of people's books and not having any anything fun to go with it. So I at this point have done Michelle's. I did Michelle's like last year, and then I had I had one that I did but it ended up getting scrapped. A lot of the filming wasn't great, and then I've had a few that I've started. So currently I'm on Kelsey's and I'm going to finish that, and then I will move on to someone else's. So all my friends are on here. Kelsey is still on here even though she shouldn't be, so let me actually take her off because I'm working on hers right now. But we still have a whole bunch of friends on here, so let's see who we get. Wow, this is very fitting for the month. So for October, we got Leandra, which is very fitting considering that I'm doing her TBR harvest game readathon this month, so that's really fun. So we got Leandra, and I do have the books. I will message Leandra and find out if she wants to switch out any of the books or if she wants to not include any of them or whatever. So I'll be reaching out to her to find out. But let's find out what the challenges that goes along with her vlog. So the challenges could be like, for Kelsey's, it's going in blind, so I haven't read any of the synopses of the books that she gave me. I just have to go into them and read them and hope that I love them. So far, it's been working out in my favor. And then I also have ones that are like 24-hour challenge, where I try to, I use a timer to see how long it, I try to read them all in 24 hours. But I just have some different reading challenges that I do. Swap screen time for reading time, 100 pages a day. They're just to kind of make me reading the books a little bit fun. So let's go ahead and spin. Okay, so for Leandra's challenge is going to be 100 pages per day. So basically what this means is that I need to be reading 100 pages of one of Leandra's books per day during the time that I am filming her vlog specifically. No other book that I read is going to count. So I could read 100 pages of One Cursed Rose, but if that's not on her list of books that she gave me, which it's not, then it's not going to count for this challenge. So every day I need to read at least 100 pages of one of the books that Leandra has given me. I do have them on a list. So Leandra is our friend that is being picked this month, which is so fun. And we have to do the 100 pages a day challenge. So fun. Okay, so all of our wheels are spun for at this point. I'm sure this video is going to be over an hour long. And let's go over any buddy reads or anything else that I have. So buddy reads that I have currently written out are Gothicana with Rainy. We keep pushing this back, so will we read it this month? Who knows? I also have House of Bane and Blood, which is with Brittany. I think there's a group of us doing this one. However, I don't know. She hasn't gotten back to me on whether we're doing this, but I have it on the list just in case, because I don't want to miss it if we are reading it. And then I have the TOG or Throne of Glass tandem read, which is with Rainy and Kelsey. I don't know. I think we are doing this in October, but it may be being pushed to November. But for now, I have it listed just in case, like I said. Then for must reads this month, the must reads are just following me from September. So I still need to read The Drawing of the Three, Role Playing, The Blood Trials, and Jade City, and I will try to make those fit as I can. I think that The Drawing of the Three, I'm just going to go ahead and finish. I did start it. I got about 50% through, and I just need to finish it. So I may just finish that at like the very beginning of the month. Just listen to the audiobook and get that done. But Role Playing, The Blood Trials, and Jade City, I own Blood Trials and Jade City physically, but I can also get them on audiobook. And then Role Playing I have on my Kindle. So I'm hoping to get those done, and I'm hoping that those will fit somewhere for something. It won't fit for TBR Harvest, but I'm hoping that it will fit for Fabelin, which I'm also participating in. So as far as readathons this month, I am participating in TBR Harvest, which is what you just saw me play this game for, and I am doing the Trick or Treat version of that. And then I am also a co-host with Leandra. She's on my team. Leandra and Thor, we are all co-hosts for one of the teams for Fabelin. I will leave all of the information for that down below because Margaret explains Fabelin way better than I ever could, but it is a D&D inspired readathon, and I'm so excited to be participating and doing it. There will be a separate video of like TBR possibilities for that, but I'm pretty sure we're not getting prompts ahead of time, so it's a little bit harder. So I'm probably just going to go through the books that I hope to get to for the month, which some of them you may have already seen in this game and some you may not. So that's all that I have for today. All of my links are down below. All of the friends that I've mentioned in this video today will be also linked down below, along with information for TBR Harvest and information for Fabelin if you want to participate in one or both of those. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.